Welcome to this special event episode of the Krypton Report, which is kind of a crossover with the Flash Arrow Power Hour, because with me today is the great, the amazing, the almighty podcaster, Mr. Phil.
Well, thank you, sir. And yes, you're also on the Flash Arrow Power Hour, so I guess we have the best parts of the Flash Arrow Power Hour today.
Let's talk episode 18 of Supergirl, World's Finest.
Yes.
So, this episode, big deal for the universe. As we've already discussed, we saw the Flash portion of where this episode fell in the Flash timeline.
Finally.
Finally. But this was a big deal because, you have Barry from CW coming over to CBS, and it's a really good cross-marketing for both shows. And I love watching them interact together.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they said, a major plus in Supergirl's column for getting renewed for a second season was this episode, because the rating jumped so much just for this episode.
Because it's one of the things that we love about these shows. I mean, with Arrow and Flash, as they play in each other's sandbox, also Legends touch on stuff. Mm-hmm. And Supergirl's like that once removed cousin where it's connected, but at the same time, it's not the same thing.
Well, that's why they have to bring her to the Flash, next season, because it's just, look how much fun it was just her interacting with Barry. Can you imagine her interacting with, Team Flash, but just even you can bring in Team Arrow and make it part of the crossover next season.
I think Cisco might be in love again.
Yeah.
He would just be like, oh gosh, and I just think, this Earth that he's on, is the most interesting Earth, because it shows that not every Earth is exactly a parallel of another.
Mm-hmm.
That there's something different. And I will say one thing about this episode. I'm going to have nothing but positive stuff for this episode. But one thing I will say that's kind of negative to me is I feel like this episode should have been a two-parter.
Yeah, I think probably the problem was, do you think maybe they came up with this idea late in the game and they were like, okay, well, Supergirl's only going to have 20 episodes this season and we can only squeeze this in at episode 18 already, so.
I think they just they didn't get clearance soon enough.
Yeah.
Or something, they had the idea, but they had the episode. But when they were able to get Barry on, they were like, okay, we'll do this, because I feel like I love how quickly Supergirl and Barry connect and just bond.
Mm-hmm.
He's back in her office, and then the whole Wen and Jimmy showing up and what's going on? We saw you get knocked out of a building, and oh hi, I'm Barry. I'm from another Earth. They're like, other Earth, and then Barry explains, and Wen's like, oh, the multiverse theory, and all of a sudden they're just becoming broing it out, and they're like, what do you mean you can hold on? And he goes and gets ice cream for everybody.
Oh, that was the best scene. Just the look on her face. She was like, yes.
She's happy. She got another, super-powered person with her, which is great. And Jimmy just looks what does he say? Jealousy. Thy name is Olsen.
Yes.
Jimmy's just no.
She has another superhero who appreciates food like she does.
Exactly. And, the fact that he finds out she's an alien, he's like, this is awesome.
Mm.
But getting to, the reason why I think it should have been 2 episodes, I really feel like the episode should have been more of the origin of Silver Banshee.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about this I feel is awkward, because, before we watched this episode, Jenny and I revisited the Smallville episode with Silver Banshee, and we were talking about how it's kind of like a spirit
Yeah.
of the family. And in this, like, she just all of a sudden gets the wailing cry, and then she has like this image of it in her head, and is just like freaking out. And was it makeup that she put on? You know, because I always felt like the Silver Banshee was more of a, not like just like a Scooby-Doo villain, you know, like costume makeup.
Well, yeah, that's how they did it in the comics, because the curse, as she was using her powers, made her look like that naturally over time. But that was my one problem with this episode, is just the face paint. I mean, the face paint, it looked good, but I just wish that would have been like her natural look, and not just oh, I decided to go punk and put on this.
Yeah, like she just gets this image in her mind. She decides to do a makeover and look like this. And
I mean, face paint doesn't scream supernatural to me. It screams Kiss Army.
Exactly. Thank you. Because that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, and everyone knows it's her. Like, they still know it's her. Like, when she shows up, they're like,
"Oh,
Siobhan."
I do like. It's not a disguise, so what's the point? She's just drawing attention to herself on the street.
And so if they had just like the episode before had been so much of just like the buildup of her backstory, like she goes and sees her aunt, and you find out her aunt's like doing the fake accent and stuff like that, and you're just kind of like, okay. Like, I just wish there had been a whole Silver Banshee building up, but like we said, I feel like this was they like, okay, here's your opportunity, it's been approved. Okay, let's get him in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with it, and because part of it is, like, if you really think, you can almost take Barry out of this episode and it still functions.
Yes.
It's nice having him. It's nice, cousin Barry, and Kat knows he's the Flash, or the Streak, or the Speedy, or the Blur, or all the stuff that she like rattles off, and it was just kind of funny. And she makes the comment about being a racially diverse CW show. And everything. Everybody's like, oh, yeah. So, I mean, I love Kat with each episode. Siobhan was kind of annoying in all her episodes, basically, to me.
Yeah. But all right, I want to ask you this question. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, it isn't jumping too far ahead into the season. But do you think Kat knows she's Supergirl, and was the whole Barry thing just another clue?
I have gone back and had that discussion, and part of me feels like, even though they did the whole Supergirl and Kara at the same time,
mm-hmm.
I still think Kat knows or has her super suspicions. I still think she has an idea.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's living in a world of superpowers now, so, I mean, faking that wouldn't be that hard.
Especially after Martian Manhunter comes out and reveals himself.
Yeah.
And
And
you can see he can shapeshift.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would make sense. Just Kat's a smart person. So we'll see how it plays into, the next season of it.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing was, the DEO is like, Siobhan was able to just come in there and free Electro Livewire. That's who Livewire kind of reminds me of, but her music's better.
Yeah. But the whole thing was weird. If she was just able to waltz into the DEO and break Livewire out, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Livewire, it just seemed weird that, what was she? She was in one episode before, it was like, what, episode 4 or 5 or something, and all of a sudden she just like reappears in episode 18.
Yeah, she's been in the DEO, so like, I want to know what all they got locked up. Because, we'll learn they have more prisoners, and like, how big is their jail? Because people just pop up and everything out of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's great when Barry and her are in the DEO, and they're all freaking out because Barry's there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, yeah, take a picture of me. This is awesome. Spaceship, secret government agent. And Lucy's, like, who is this? Barry Allen on the Flash. It's cool. He's like, I'm cool. Put your guns down. It's good. Guys, chill. I'm all right. Barry has, like, I feel like in this episode, he's even more, like, happy. He's even more peppy than he usually is on his own show.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole tone of Supergirl is lighter. Plus, he got away from Zoom and all his problems, at least for an hour.
He's like, man, this is just so chill. Like, you have your own base? You have a sister? Like, where's she at?
Hmm? I just love all the name dropping, though. He was like, when he first gets there, he's like, do you know Green Arrow or Black Canary? Or...
She's like, no. He's like, Harrison Wells, Cisco Ramon, metahumans. What happens on this planet?
And what did you think when he was looking to see if they had any double gangers on Kara's Earth? He was like, okay, there's a central city, but I can't find Cisco Ramon or Caitlin Snow.
I know. I thought that was interesting. Like I said, just kind of like, Earth, like in typical DC canon, Earth 3 is like the villain Earth, but it's not like you don't have Bruce Wayne, you don't have like you have versions that are similar, but it's not the same. It's not like a direct correlation.
I'm thinking her Earth is like, some of the cities and stuff might be the same, but it's so far down the path from his that not everyone has double gangers.
Yeah, like the farther you branch out in the multiverse, the thinner it gets. I mean, there's the rumor that she might appear on Flash in season 3 as Power Girl.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, that could work, I guess. That's kind of the doppelganger. But I'd like to just see her as Supergirl come over.
Oh, yeah.
I do like how mature Lucy and Jimmy handle their, like, I know we were dating and breaking up, but I can tell you're jealous seeing Supergirl over there with this guy. Like, let's just be adults about things and not be childish. This is on CBS, not the CW.
Yeah.
But I will say that I love when Supergirl and Flash show up to fight the supervillains.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, she gets there and she's like, I beat you. And he's like, I took a few seconds to check the perimeter. And he sees Livewire show up, and his first thought is, I'll throw lightning at her.
Yeah, isn't he supposed to be a scientist? It's like, okay, can she maybe absorb this? And does he, or even if she can't, does he know for a fact that she can survive a hit like that?
Yeah, for real. Like, she just charges up and then she hits him.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes flying, and he's out for a moment, and then it's Supergirl versus Livewire, and then here comes Silver Banshee around the corner, and I love when she's like, "What's your name?" She's like, "Siobhan Smythe." She's like, "They knew you were going to be." How'd she say? Oh, like they named you perfect. Like they knew you'd be a prick or something.
No.
Like I said, her look looks sweet, but like it just painted makeup looks like. Did you just decide to go goth today?
Yeah. It didn't seem in character for her up to that point.
Exactly. And I've never been sold. Like I don't know why. I just don't like the way Livewire looks. I don't like her hair. It looks weird.
Yeah, there's something with it. Every time she was on camera, I was like, there's something bugging me, but I don't know about her look. I don't know what it is.
I just, we have Silver Banshee and Livewire versus Supergirl and the Flash. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Supergirl uses super breath powered by Flash's arms.
Mm-hmm.
Teamwork, awesome. But at the same time, I'm like, the heroes, they could take them out. Why do they run away? Like, let's regroup so we can wait a few more minutes. We can't have the episode move too fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like, the speech between Barry and Kara where she's discussing, what happened after the red kryptonite and how people she let people down, and Barry kind of tells her about his story, and
Mm-hmm.
Livewire shows up to get Kat, and Kat doesn't even care. And then Siobhan comes up in the elevator, and Wynn just was like, Siobhan? Like, they know. Like, even with all the makeup, like, they know it's her.
You know what Kat needs? She needs some kind of, like, superhuman, like, protection, like some kind of, like, task force or something, or, like, bodyguards who are, like, trained to deal with, like, superhumans, because it's, like, I'm thinking there was like a thing back in the 90s and a couple issues of Spider-Man where J. Jonah Jameson hired like these mercenaries. He's like, everyone from Doc Ock to everybody else is always attacking the Daily Bugle, so I just hired some people to protect us.
It makes sense. And when he's trying to, talk Siobhan, like, Siobhan, don't do this, come back. And her face looks not as pale white in this scene. Mm-hmm. Like, she wipes some makeup off. And then she does her scream and breaks everybody's eardrums. Technically, everyone should be deaf.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just weird that she like can scream at different levels. Sometimes it makes people's ears bleed. Sometimes it doesn't. And then we get back to the action. And I like this scene where they're in the park because Barry has the best line ever. Where he's like,
let's fight like women or something.
Yeah, let's just fight like women. And they look at me like, what? There's more of you than there is of me. Like, it's such a Barry line, and it works perfectly. Because, it is all women and Barry.
Well, I think that's one of the strengths of this episode, that there are so many people who work on this show that work on The Flash.
So, and, like, they get there to fight. And I love this scene, but I love it for the wrong reasons. Like, Barry, he runs and knocks them apart, and then he takes off to fight Livewire on a rooftop, which is sweet. But technically, wouldn't it be better? Like, Barry could have just done his lightning bolt and hit Silver Banshee, and Kara could have fought Livewire.
Yeah.
But, Barry gets knocked out by Livewire again, and then Livewire shows up with Silver Banshee, and it's them once again, both of them versus Kara. Kara jumps up, saves herself, gets electroshocked, and falls to the ground. Then we have our Spider-Man 2 scene, where all the people are like, well, don't hurt Supergirl. You have to fight us. And they're out in the open, and Supergirl's like, oh, blah, 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 I'll fight them, da-da-da. And then, I love it, don't get me wrong. I love that technically it's Livewire that takes out Silver Banshee. And it's the fire department that Kara helped 2 episodes ago to take out Livewire. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love this whole scene. Like, from them, like, Supergirl, are you okay? And she's like, yes. And then the Flash shows back up. Literally, he did nothing.
Yeah, I really don't think he really didn't contribute power-wise, battle-wise this episode. It was more, him being moral support for Kara and him using his brains, like he came up with those earplugs.
Yes. And I love Kat knows Barry's the Flash and all that. Then it gets down to the great race part. We're like, are you ready? And he's going to use his tachyon thing. So that's how we know where this episode lies in the whole scheme of the Flash. Is because he actually has the tachyon on his chest. Because when he gets
on the Flash, that was like the last episode. He actually used the big version of that. Is when he jumped in and out of that portal. So,
I love it. I wish there had been more dialogue in the Flash when he gets back. Like, Cisco, oh my gosh, you're never gonna believe this guy, this girl, and they're like, what? Talk about it later, Alan. Something like that, like.
Yeah. Even if he just would have ran back in and went, Silver Banshee.
Yeah. Like, and Cisco's like, that's a cool sounding name.
Yeah.
But, I love that they do the little race. Like, instead of, we don't have Superman and Flash, we have Supergirl and Flash, which is cool. And then I feel like it should have gone a little bit longer than it did. But she pushes him through the portal, and then Then, of course, the end of the episode is the crucial Kara, I'm going to talk to Jimmy. Tell Jimmy everything. Tell Jimmy, oh, I'm going to kiss him as he gets brainwashed. Because one thing I have liked about the show that they've been doing is I really like that each episode ends with the lead into the next episode.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah,
where there's a little bit feels like more of a tighter stretch, tighter continuity, tighter story. So I do like that. I mean, I like this show a lot, and they've been debating about the renewal. And I think it got renewed. I can't tell. Like I read so much.
Well, some people
keep
saying
and forth stuff, but I'm like,
yeah. Well, some people keep saying no, it's been renewed, and other people are like, oh, they haven't made an official announcement yet. So, but I mean, from what I've read, it seems pretty likely they're going to renew it.
I don't know why they would it. I mean, the ratings are up and down. All that to me, that means that you have a property that you still can fix. Like it's not a hopeless property. Like, yeah, you might need to make some budget change or something like that, but you have the ability that you can come back and you know what's working and what isn't, and make a better season 2 and a better property for it. Like it's not like the ratings just dipped and nobody likes it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think they've been hitting it out of the park since episode 6. I mean, I think they really started hitting their stride after that.
Exactly. And I mean, especially in our culture where everybody's fighting for some sort of superhero property, that you have this. Even Solomon agrees because he loves watching it with Daddy. Yeah. That you would want to find a way to keep it going and just retool it, because you don't want to lose it.
Well, yeah. Well, just I mean, the whole Solo point. I mean, not only do they have a superhero show that everyone wants these days, but it's something you can watch with your kids.
Oh yeah, like that's the thing is like I love that this show and Flash are both more family-based shows. I always look at, this is the one, especially like, I mean, I don't have any daughters, but I have a wife, and me too. It's a show that young girls can watch, and like I have, Jania has a cousin who is 13, and she likes it and watches it, and it's something good and strong characters. I mean, strong women characters all around.
But even this episode, like I don't know who was screaming louder, me or my 3-year-old son Luca, when Barry went running up the side of the building to catch Kara. We're screaming, "Flash! Flash! Flash!"
Solomon, he likes watching it with me. He's like, so I mean, I don't know, it's just a good show. I mean, it's not perfect. It's had some rocky points. Like you'll hear an episode that we debate talking about just what Superman's role is in this. Is it good or bad that he's part of it? Like, what are your thoughts?
It's good. I mean, like I said, I like the show. That's a whole tricky thing with the whole Superman thing. It's like, the show is Supergirl, but do you really want to ignore the point? It's like, why wouldn't Superman come in on some of these emergencies? But that's the thing with Superman. You don't want to like upstage the primary, the primary character. The whole show's based around is a woman, and you don't want to upstage the woman bringing the man in to save her. And it's the whole thing about why didn't you bring in Daredevil or anyone else on Jessica Jones? You have to, and this is the first season, so you have to, set the stage, to show that this woman is strong and capable and her own hero.
Exactly. I mean, that's the whole point is like, I've gone back and forth about what I preferred if Superman wasn't part of this. Like they had done a Superman type story with Supergirl, or if they had just decided, hey, Superman's going to be off world. Or like one thing I told Jania was, what if this show got creative and pulled like a reverse Infinite Crisis, where instead of Superman dying for the crisis, Superman dies instead of Supergirl, and then she has to pick up the slack of what's left from him being gone.
Yes, I did hear you mention that on a previous episode. Yeah, that would be a cool idea.
Because that would be a way of just acknowledging Superman's existence, his world that he's built, but then getting him out of the way. And then Kara could go to the fortress more, and like she starts going back there. Like this is why Kara is fighting more Superman villains. Like her Bizarro. Like they never mention like, did Superman fight a Bizarro? Did Lex Luthor create anything? Where is Lex Luthor? Because we have the Daily Planet, Perry White, Superman, Clark Kent, Lois Lane. So we have to have Lex Luthor somewhere. And I'm surprised Max Lord hasn't dropped any kind of reference to working alongside Luthor Corp. But this episode, I loved it. I would have liked to have seen it as a two-parter just to see more of more Wynn and Barry broing it out, and just more of Barry and Kara getting to be, friends.
I was excited. I was just as excited to watch this episode as I was to watch Batman v Superman.
Oh, I know. It was, and I kept saying like, what's hilarious is right now this year is Daredevil versus Punisher, Batman v Superman, Marvel Civil War, and then you have Flash and Supergirl like, high five, let's take a selfie, best buds. Like everybody else is like, oh, another superhero, we have to fight, and they're like, let's be best buds. They're like the one couple that's finally happy to be in each other.
That's a nice change of pace.
It is. It's a very nice change of pace. So, it was a good week for DC.
Oh yeah.
But final thoughts, Phil?
I really, really like this episode. Of course, I've been loving the show in general. I think this is my favorite episode of season 1. And I hope they can return the favor and Kara, she appears as Supergirl in the CW universe.
Would it be awesome if she just shows up and beats the crap out of Zoom?
I don't think it's gonna happen this season, but
yeah,
that would be awesome.
It was at the end, like Barry doesn't have his speed, and he's like, "Who will help you now, Barry?" And all of a sudden, the sky's open, and she flies in and just like heat vision Zoom, and he just explodes, and she's like, "I am."
Oh, that would be awesome, especially since no one spoiled it. We haven't heard anything on the internet about it. That would be awesome if they could make that a huge surprise.
and Cisco's like, "Who are you?" And Barry's like, "It's Supergirl. It's my friend Supergirl."
If Barry says it's Supergirl and Cisco goes, "Yeah, it is."
He's like, "I like it. It's okay. It's all right." I would have done like Power Woman or something, but yeah, I really want the show to continue because I enjoy it, and I think it's important that it continues. And honestly, like, it and Flash are my two favorite shows to watch.
Oh yeah, they're a lot of similarities. Yeah, they're pretty good.
So, any other final thoughts for you?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for being here with us today, and Solomon and I are glad that you were able to join us to discuss the Flash and Supergirl.
Oh, thank you. You know I love talking this stuff.
Oh, I know. All right. Well, hey, you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, if you want to discuss anything DC or even Marvel with me, you can email me nightwingpdp@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter @nightwingpdp, where I'm usually live tweeting the DC shows when they're live, like Gotham, Flash, Arrow, Legends. But just find me, Instagram, Periscope. I even started a new Tumblr. It's all Nightwing PDP.
I like Phil the Great and Powerful, but Nightwing PDP works too. So, all right. Well, like I said, Phil, you're always welcome. I got some plans coming up here for some summer episodes. We think we're going to dive into some Superman comic reviews and book reviews, some Supergirl reviews, and discuss some things. I've been working on a whole schedule lineup for what to do this summer because I really want to get back in more episodes. As a lot of the fans know, like my computer crashed and all the stuff that Jenny and I had worked on and hadn't released yet was lost. Mm-hmm. So we've had to go back and re-record things and just find the time to do that. And so we're getting caught back up with everything. And so we're going to have a really cool, I think, summer schedule of stuff building towards season 2, which we don't have, we're not sure, but we know that we want it. We want it bad.
Oh yeah, I'm sure people will hear me on here again.
Oh, I'm sure they will too. Because and what's cool to think about is with this crossover, okay, definitely that means that every DC show, superhero show that's been on TV except Gotham is connected.
Yes.
So technically, Constantine is connected to Supergirl.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, they could even say that the Constantine TV series was an alternate Earth, and that the John Constantine that showed up on Arrow was from Earth 1, and that maybe Constantine took place on Earth 3.
Never know.
Oh, it's nap time for somebody. So, all right, Phil. Talk to you later, buddy.
All right.
All right. Bye.